Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that welcome back to the show. So listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. On the data to the fullest, every single day we wake up, get it in every way. Right for the two and the global inspiration. Talk this world to top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every girl, Rebroadcast, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Enjoying Sweep the League TV? Don't keep it to yourself. Share with friends and let them join the fun.
You are watching my favorite sports show online, Sweep the League TV with Rudy and Derek Gervin. Wait, I mean the UTSA Hall of Fame Derek Gervin. Make sure to support this amazing show and subscribe to their channel.
Thanks for watching Sweep the League TV. Subscribe, post your comments below, and have fun.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
What is up, everybody? It is the Taco Tuesday edition of Sweep the League. We're back at our normal time at 9 o'clock tonight. Reminders, Monday and Wednesdays, the show is going to be coming to you live during the day. But if we are not live during the day, we will be having a broadcast at 9 o'clock. It would be a pre-recorded show. The way you'll know is we have a message before the show starts. It says it's a pre-recorded show. So just give you a heads up. But you will not go a day without Sweep the League. Also, some of our episodes are going to be broadcast over the weekend as we've kind of launched a new adventure here at Sweep the League. So you're going to get a lot more of our content a lot more frequently. You're going to get it a lot more on the weekends as well. Some past shows, also some, daily content, stuff like that. We got a lot of stuff in the works here. Shout out to our executive producer, SOTB family. The album is coming out. STL Music's first album is coming out October 1st. So be on the lookout for that. Shout out to our sponsors, MCS General Contracting, La Cocina Taco Truck, Castro and Son Solar, and Specialty Tea. And shout out to Locked On Spurs, because our first segment is going to be about Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. I was on the show the other day, actually, yesterday, as a matter of fact. We're going to talk about that subject with Hall of Famer Derek Gervin. And before we bring in Derek Gervin right now, quick thing here. Sometimes at Sweep the League, we talk about live stuff and everything that goes on and all the happenings. So just a couple of things here. Look, we as content creators, we have stuff that we put out there, anywhere from local TV stations to local newspaper. Well, not even newspaper, but, online content creators, everything. A couple of our things have actually been taken as well, along with other people's on, local TV stations as well, as like I'm mentioning. Always give credit where credit's due. Please don't have us or anybody else chase you down to say, hey, you're using my video, or hey, you are sharing our content and you're putting your tag on it. That's some BS stuff, and that's some BS practice. And I just want everybody to know out there that if you are doing it, just stop already. It's getting old, and you know what? The content doesn't belong to you, even though you have triple the amount of subscribers that we do, or you have triple the amount of followers on X or whoever that we do. Doesn't matter. The concept belongs to us. It belongs to other people. Quit tagging your own stuff on it and making it your own. And that rants over like that. So now I'm going to bring him in here. It's going to be Hall of Famer Derek Gervin joining you now. Derek, welcome back to Sweep the League, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man, and I like that message you just put out there. No matter what our subscribers are right now, they're going to continue to grow, and that means we got something good going when people with more subscribers that have been around longer are trying to steal our content. So you can practice where we are, but you can't duplicate. So that's a good message you put out there.
Often imitated, never duplicated. So
Never.
we're small now because we had to rebrand everything, but I mean we were on radio. We had a good following before everything happened, so no big deal. I just wanted to put it out there because I'm getting kind of tired of getting DMs and stuff from people saying, "Hey, isn't this y'all's? Isn't this y'all's?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it is." Having to DM people, watching them read the DMs and not even responding. So I mean, if you're going to be a part of the business, at least give credit where credit's due. But no, one person that doesn't steal anything from us, Derek, is our own Coach Gio. The only thing he steals is time. That's it. So luckily he's joining us tonight. Gio, are you all right, Gio? I mean, we got college football coming up, man.
College football is coming up. The NFL. This is the time of year. Fall's coming up. The leaves are changing. Big Ten football, SEC football.
Leaves haven't changed, but just burnt down here, man. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's burning leaves. Wasn't there a big fire, Rudy? I saw Jeff posting up some of those videos.
Redland, 1604, right, Rudy? Yeah.
It was I mean, kind of weird. It was a sauna place that was burning up and on fire. So yeah, we're having some hot days. I got in my car today. It was 115 degrees. I don't even know if it's that hot in hell, to be honest with you.
Today was like what, 71, 72. The sun's shining bright. It felt really good today.
And we've lost Gio on the stream. We've lost him on the stream. He's done for the evening. No, it's a hot one here in San Antonio, and it's going to be hot for a little while. Apparently, the next 6 days, it's going to be 105 plus or something like that. So, yeah, Gio, you don't. Derek loves it. I don't like it. I hate that.
I love it.
As a great big old fat guy, I can't even stand it, man. I'm sweating in places I didn't even know I could sweat in. So, nonetheless, we're going to get into a little bit of topics here. The first topic is going to be brought to you by MCS General Contracting. MCS General Contracting, laying out the foundation for homes, for parking lots, for driveways, for pools. We need pools, man. San Antonio, you got to get your toes wet in the pool. Just jump right in, some cold water, man. Contact MCS General Contracting to get that pool installed. This first segment is going to be about the Locked On episode that I was on yesterday with Jeff Garcia. Topic is, should Keldon Johnson give up his number 3 for Chris Paul? Because Chris Paul has had the number 3, well, forever. I mean, that's, he's known as CP3 and Keldon's got number 3. The debate is, yeah, he should give him. I mean, I would say majority of the fans out there are saying Keldon needs to suck it up, but just give him number 3. He's a legend. He's the point god. It's everything, and we're going to get into that topic. It's going to a couple of comments here. What is taking so long, Rudy? Yeah, I had to put my makeup on, John. It was taking a while. ACC football talk's going to be later this week, Tim, when we get into some more college football preview. Normally we do that during the day. What time is the show tomorrow? Should be about 2 p.m., I believe. If it changes, I'll let you know. Thank you, John. Gio says the only 2 things he will agree to be part of the show every day is to have those teas and the tacos. I don't know. Did the teas ever make it, Gio?
The tea did get it, and I haven't drunk it yet. But
so you were crying all this time for special leaf tea, and you haven't even drank it. That's terrible.
Well, I put in the fridge, got cooled up. So
yeah. All right.
And the tacos, the frozen tacos, I haven't gotten them yet, Louis, but we'll work on something.
We'll work on something. So again, this first segment is brought to you by MCS General Contracting. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you my point first because I am on the low end of the whole Chris Paul, Keldon Johnson thing, on the sense that my belief is if you have a number and you are asked to give it up, if it's been your number for a while, I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? If I want to give it up, I'll give it up. I understand if you have a Hall of Famer You have, Chris Paul, point guard, all this other stuff, and it's been his number forever. Me personally, if it has a significant, meaningful, just something to you that means a whole lot, then I can understand wanting to keep it. And Keldon's sake, and Keldon's instance is basically, he said that, he's the third born in his family, so it has, some family value to it. That's why he wants to keep it. But I think at the end of the day, before the season starts, you're probably going to see Keldon give up number 3. I don't know if Chris is going to pay for it or what's going to happen. For all we know, Keldon may be traded. I have no idea. But I think when the season starts, you might see number 3 on Chris Paul. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be, on the tail end on this part here and be wrong on it. But let me go to Derek real quick, because I know Derek had some strong feelings on it. Giving up number 3 to Chris Paul, big deal, not big deal. Should he do it without even hesitation? I mean, you played in the league before. I'm sure you've seen this a couple of times already. So how does this work, when it comes to professional athletes?
Well, I wore number 24 my rookie year, and that's the jersey they had available at the time when I came in. I'm a guy that wore number 30 in my college career, and I'm a 30 guy. So I end up wearing 24. The following season, I gave 24 to Reggie Theus because that was his normal number. And he didn't even ask for it. I just, I thought we met in the middle. I gave him what he wanted, and I got my number 30. But in Chris and Keldon's situation, I can't say that Chris should automatically get it. There is a thing that we do behind the scenes that when players want a certain uniform, sometimes they have to pay for that uniform.
Yeah.
And so Chris, we all know he's CP3. His brand has grown under that name. He is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I also look at the other side, and I can understand Keldon's side of it. If he's the third born in the family and it has some special meaning to him, I can sympathize with that as well. But at the end of the day, I believe Chris will probably end up getting that jersey. Maybe they can work something out. Keldon's been in the league long enough now where he deserves to have some say. And if he wants to keep his jersey, I can understand. But hopefully they'll discuss it. I think he'll be changing his number before Chris will be changing his. And hopefully, make the man pay you for it if you're willing to give it up. I mean, if there's even an inkling that Keldon is willing to give it up, get some compensation for it. And that part I'm not kidding about. I hope they can work it out. But we don't even know if Keldon will be here after the All-Star game. I mean, after the break, after the trade deadline. We don't know if he'll be here. But hopefully they can work it out. But I'm not going to say either guy is wrong. If Keldon wants to keep it, then I think he has the right to keep it. But maybe they'll meet in the middle. And if Chris wants it, hey, Chris has to be willing to pay for it.
Yeah, and that's something, John was saying here, no disrespect, that Keldon, but he will be traded soon. That's kind of the popular opinion, too. He should just give up number 3 because of Chris Paul. He's probably not going to be here. But you are right.
Didn't his camp request it, Rudy?
Was it Chris Paul's?
No, didn't Johnson request a trade?
That has come out. I haven't seen it. If you can pull it up and let me know where that is, I definitely will post it.
No, I thought when I thought his camp was the one that said, "Hey, like he wouldn't mind being traded," or okay, no. So maybe I'm just confused on if his camp was the one that says, "Hey, like we're open to trade offers." But nonetheless,
they're physically trying to trade him. I can tell you that he's always talked about when it comes to trading with the San Antonio Spurs.
Just give the number. Listen, his days in San Antonio are numbered. I think.
But what if they're not?
No, I honestly think his days are coming to an end. And listen, I'm not trying to say that the meaning of that number isn't significant to him, because it obviously is. And if Chris wants to pay for it, hey, Chris, go ahead. But I'm on the lines as, dude, he knows he's probably going to be traded probably before the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Just give him the number.
So it's not a big, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's weird. Majority of Spurs fans are saying, give him the number. I mean, it's Chris Paul. Give him the number. You can go get another number. But, that's where I argue with fans on. Like, why in the hell you give up a number?
Rudy, I'm sorry. Now, I'm saying, just trying to be diplomatic here. So if Keldon could give up the number, why can't Chris at this point in his career? It's not like Chris is ready to play 3 or 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah.
So Keldon might want to wear this throughout his career. And I don't want to be one-sided about it. We know what Chris has done in his career, but Keldon has been here now for several years, and it's not like he's just some guy off the streets. I mean, he's had some really good games and some decent seasons, and so you don't want a guy coming in. You got a nice office there just because someone new comes in that's been somewhere else at another network, and they come in. Should you automatically give up your desk, your office, just because?
No.
I think they have to really sit down and figure this out. And hopefully it doesn't become a big deal, but we don't know if Keldon's going to be traded. We're just thinking he's going to be traded. What if it doesn't happen? And you got to keep peace among the team. So hopefully they can talk about it and figure it out. Kobe Bryant's changed his number. LeBron James changed his number.
And Michael Jordan.
So this wouldn't right. Michael Jordan wore 45. This wouldn't be a first time thing. So hopefully they can put their minds together and figure it out.
Well, wasn't the 45 a little bit different though?
Well, I mean, but no, he played different. But it wouldn't have been any different if he came in and if this is what people have to realize: the 45, he had just come from developing baseball muscles.
Yeah.
So it was a big adjustment to switching over to basketball. If he would have played well, came back in basketball shape, which was impossible, the 45 wouldn't have been a big deal. It was just a change. And this happened before. Guys have wore a different jersey. Dr. J wasn't always number 6. So, I mean, you just have to put your minds together and figure it out. But at the end of the day, man, they need to start trying to worry about winning some games.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was kind of telling Jeff. I'm like, are we really making this a big deal about a jersey number? I'm more worried about the win and loss column than I am about a jersey. And you're right. Chris Paul, this could be his last year for all we know. And you're gonna snag number 3 away from a guy who's been there and who's still very young in his career, who's gonna have a pretty long career in the NBA, where Chris is maybe 2 years out of the league, probably is what we're thinking. So yeah, and that's the thing. The other part that I talked on Locked On Spurs was if Kobe could change 8 and 24, LeBron had 23 and 6, and then Jordan had 23, 45. You're talking about 3 of the best players to ever play the game. I mean, if Chris Paul is, the point god and, Hall of Famer and everything, what the hell? Just grab another number, grab number, whatever, grab 2. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. The last guy that had 2 didn't stick around very long. So, I mean, who cares? I mean, that's what I say. It goes back to Alvin Robertson, 21. I mean, he was Tim Duncan wore 21. I mean, a number to me, a number is just a number. That's all it is. I know there's some significance behind it, but at this point in his career, just grab another number. Grab 33? I don't think there's any 33 on the Spurs right now. Grab 33 if you want. Grab, what? I mean, I don't know, 21. I mean, I'm sure Timmy wouldn't mind if he wore 21. I mean, it doesn't matter.
No, nobody should be wearing 21.
Nah, that's not happening.
I don't think no one should be wearing number 21 or number 50
or
ever
44
again. Or forever again.
Yeah, 44. I mean, it's kind of also some other players you'll see. And look, I'm not saying every player needs their number retired and you shouldn't have those numbers, but like, there's just certain players like, dude, there's certain players in the NBA that should have already had their number retired, shouldn't be using that number. But I mean, it's a funny story. Carmelo Anthony was
there you go, Gio.
He felt slighted because Jokic now has his number, and he wasn't necessarily thrilled about it. And I get it, but man, Joker's he's already won a championship, MVPs. And at this point, Carmelo, we're not going to remember your number compared to Jokic.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jokic's accomplishments outside of winning the NBA championship, surpasses Carmelo, period.
I never thought that Denver would retire or make sure no one else uses that number. I just, the way he left, it just wasn't a good thing that I think the Nuggets wanted to do anyway. So
I would say so. Speaking of Carmelo, let's do a little. What is it? What do the you kids do? The start, bench, and cut type thing. Let's do.
you talking about me?
Well, you kids. I mean, y'all do the start, bench, cut. Y'all always have that. All you little kids out there.
How old are you, Rudy?
I'm 45. So that I didn't do the start, bench, cut type thing. I never did that until.
That's probably under my age group too, because you're only about 9 years older than I am. So
That's what I'm saying. You kids, your generation.
No,
this is what y'all used to do.
It's not my generation. It's the one below mine.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, if you had Carmelo's considered one of the best, better scorers in the league. So Carmelo, Kevin Durant, and George Gervin. Who are we cutting? I'm pretty sure
that's
it's probably
not
going
fair.
to be.
You're putting 2 forwards in there and a big guard.
Well, I mean, they're all scorers.
Different positions.
Yeah. I mean,
and then a lot of these people don't know George.
Just scoring. I mean, obviously for me, I'm definitely taking George to start. I would take Kevin Durant off the bench, and I definitely would cut Carmelo.
Well, for me, I'll just say I'll cut Carmelo. You already know how I feel about George and KD. The only difference between them really is maybe some of the shots. George maybe have a little bigger arsenal, but both of them could get to their spots, and I can't. I'm starting both of them, I'm cutting Carmelo.
Yeah, you almost got to cut Carmelo.
That's a tough one. I wish instead of George, you would put Alex English or Bernard King or someone in there, another forward or Bird or somebody.
I got to make it tough. I got to make it tough for everybody out there. You, Gio, out of those 3?
I'm cutting Carmelo, but listen, in his day, he could score with the best of them.
You don't always have to be positive. If you're gonna cut the guy, cut the guy. Just cut him.
You got to show some I'm gonna cut him, but he was also very, very good player. I mean, let's not act like
Carmelo's a bad.
Carmelo's
a bad man. Rudy. That's a hard one, man. You got if you're gonna pick. I like the choices with KD and Carmelo, but throw another forward in there, and that make it more a little balanced.
Bernard King.
If you're gonna do the guards. If you throw somebody like that in there, I'm still. You're talking about 2 New York Knicks guys, 2 of the best, and in their prime, I'm taking Bernard King. I just think I'm starting KD without a question, and then I'm bringing Bernard King off the bench, and I'm sitting Melo, but I'm not. That's not a bad thing because Melo's a bad man and one of the greatest that ever played in the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a bad man. There's no doubt about it. Funny thing is, I want to ask you real quick something because I ended up seeing a little bit more of that documentary with about George, and I saw a little thing that Mike said, and I was kind of like started thinking like, how crazy would that have been? And I'm gonna leave everybody on the fence here, but Mike made a comment about George that it made me stop the video and think like, good God, could they have won 70 games at the time if Mike's like if his dream type of scenario would have played out? What is that dream scenario? When we get back, we're gonna ask Derek and Gio that question because, like I said, it had me thinking about it. So we're talking to Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. We'll be back in just a second. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Howdy from Texas. You've got to be tired of the sizzling electric bills and the Texas heat, right? Well, partner, we've got the solution for you. Introducing Castro and Son Solar, harnessing the power of the sun to save you some serious cash. Their top-notch solar panels will have you soaking up the savings in no time. Imagine lower electric bills, a reduced carbon footprint, and the satisfaction of going green. Their expert team will take care of everything from installation to maintenance. We're talking hassle-free, worry-free, and stress-free solar solutions. So why wait? Join the solar revolution with Castro and Son Solar. Let the Texas sun shine bright and your savings shine even brighter. Castro and Son Solar, empowering your home one sunbeam at a time. Call them today and let's get this solar party started.
Pops the mastermind, got the team what we need. 5 rings deep, we the dynasty kings. From the Alamo Dome to the banners we...
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Hall of Famer Coach Gio, and almost Hall of Famer Rudy Campos Jr. back to you on a Taco Tuesday edition of Sweep the League. Next segment is brought to you by MCS General Contracting and La Cocina Taco Truck. It is Taco Tuesday. Go visit Louie and his staff. La Cocina Taco Truck, just a short drive to get you satisfied. They are located in New Braunfels, but hey, you know what? It's worth the food. It is the street tacos, the quesadillas, the asada fries, the corn in the cup, everything that makes Gio just want to move back. Well, not move back, move to San Antonio. He's visited, but we're going to try to get him to move to San Antonio since he's rich and he has all this money. He can move anywhere he wants. So.
I am not rich, Rudy.
No. Okay. Well, he's not rich, but by our standards, he is rich because he makes like 10 figures for what I heard. He's got to move the decimal like six times.
I mean, look, I have been doing pretty well on my FanDuel.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I posted a slip yesterday again. So it's been a good ride, but
yeah,
Vegas finds a way to humble you eventually. So,
well, yeah, 2 things. One thing is I still haven't got my picks, so I'm still waiting to get those from you, so I can do that. And also, I am 99.9% sure there is always that 0.1% chance that the IRS isn't listening. So hopefully they don't listen to this right here. Gio does not make any money when it comes to that at all. So
yeah,
nobody bother him at all. This is Sweep the League, man. So this next segment brought to you by MCS General Contracting, La Cocina Taco Truck. I saw a little bit more of the Iceman documentary, and Mike said basically, and I can't quote it word for word, but in his terms, he said he wishes that he would have been able to play with Prime George, because if that was the case, him and George would be averaging 30 to 40 each for that team. And that's when I paused it. I said, Prime George Gervin, young and pretty prime Michael Jordan, that is easily 80 points a night just between 2 players. In that era of basketball, could we have seen 65, 70 wins from a team between a prime George and a prime Mike?
Well, I don't know. That means George would have probably had to slide over to the small forward position like he played in the ABA.
Mm-hmm.
And if he did that, they would have definitely been a special team. There's one team I know we would have knocked off every year, and that's the LA Lakers with Magic, Worthy, and Kareem. So, they would have been very potent at offense, just the 2 of them. And what people have to realize, they both shot, Mike shot 49.7, so 50%.
Mm-hmm.
And George shot over 51%. So, you're talking about a very potent offense. George doesn't get any credit defensively, but he's the first guard in NBA history to block 100 shots in the season.
Yeah.
So it would have been a very good offense. I don't know if they would have won 70 at that time, but they definitely, I could see 65 wins. At that time, the Lakers had the best record, 69-13.
Yeah.
That would have been hard to top at that time, but I could have seen them getting between 65, 67 wins.
So that team, I mean, I'm just naming guys off the top of my head. That was Charles Oakley. Was Orlando Woolridge on that team?
Yes.
He was, right? Okay, so I mean, I'm down the right path. So I mean, yeah, they had some players outside of Mike, and if you had Prime Georgia there at the time, yeah, that team would have definitely knocked off the Lakers. I think they're number one seed in the East. There's no doubt about it. Gio, if you're looking at that kind of team right there, I mean, I that's definitely a duo that no one could defend. I can assure you on that.
Yeah, no, I mean the top two scorers of the during that time, of course, a lot of points going to be scored. ESPN highlights, all that good stuff. I think they would have worked very well together. Back then, obviously, the big man was kind of running the show. So, what would happen if they, if they run into
Bill Cartwright, Gio. Bill Cartwright at the time.
Cartwright.
Yeah, Bill was, he said some threatening things to MJ back then that I won't repeat on air. The big man situation would be interesting, but they're definitely going to win a lot of games, just clearly off of their two top scorers. If they get to the finals, Rudy, I mean, they're probably going to play the Lakers. I know the Rockets had a run there with Ralph and Hakeem. So it just kind of be interesting, depending on the matchups, but I think they win a lot of games. 65, it's a lot of games, but wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think that duo is it was, like I said, it was something that made me stop and think, like, holy cow, if you can imagine a duo of that Prime Mike and Prime George, that's pretty crazy. Derek, the other day, Gio and I were actually yesterday, we're talking about Jeff Traylor. We were breaking down the SEC football conference, and we got into a little discussion about Jeff Traylor. And I've always been saying that Traylor is probably waiting for that one job that is in Austin to become available. And I think of the two teams, Texas is the one spot he wants to go that I don't think he can turn down. But I also kind of did say that if A&M became available, that also might be intriguing because it puts him in the SEC, in the big conference, but it keeps him in Texas where he does have a lot of, recruiting. The pipeline down here is perfect for Traylor. That's where he can recruit fantastic down here. So, of the two schools, Tim wants to know, which one do you think Traylor would leave UTSA for?
Wow, that's a good question, Tim. Excellent. Man, Jeff is a special coach to me. I'm so glad that he came to UTSA, and I would hate to see him leave, Rudy. I told you before, but I think it's geared to the point where it's going to be inevitable. And I think if you're looking at it right now, Texas is one of the top 5 teams in the country in the ranking so far.
Yeah.
So I could see Jeff being this kind of guy that will want to restore the Texas A&M Aggies. I could see him with Texas A&M. I think he was the type coach that would rather go to the team that's, I would say, a little bit the inferior one. Texas, of course, we know gets all the notoriety. And, some coaches relish the challenge of going to another team and bringing that team up to the same level. So both of them are great schools. But if it was me, if I had my druthers, as they say, I would hope that he would take the Texas A&M job.
A&M, see, Derek went a little off course there. And that's not a bad thing because the A&M job is going to be available probably before the Texas job, I think.
Well, yeah, it depends, right? I think Mike Elko from Duke is the coach now, and he coached formerly at A&M, I believe, as a defensive coordinator. So he's been around that place up there in College Station. So I don't – it's basically what job comes first, Rudy. That's the way I look at it because if Texas A&M comes first, he's probably going to take that job. And if obviously Texas comes, and if Texas comes first, that's because they literally just laid an egg and disaster has struck in Austin.
It can happen, though. We said it yesterday. If they lose to week 2, Michigan in week 2, that seat for Sark is flaming. It's super hot.
Hey, Rudy, if we're talking longevity, though, right? What did Texas A&M? Didn't they get Jimbo Fisher a 10-year contract?
Good old Jimbo.
Yeah, they did.
So if you're talking about uprooting, that's usually has something to do with financial security for your family.
Yeah.
And I think Texas wouldn't offer him a 10-year deal. We know how the Longhorns are. I could see A&M turning their university, basically the sports university, and you're playing for the 12th man. I think that would be something he would embrace. He's kind of, created that almost here in UTSA. He's a hands-on coach. He spends a lot of time in the community, and I just think Texas A&M would be the perfect fit for him.
Well, also, Rudy, the Texas A&M and Texas rivalry is being renewed this season. So, Jeff, if he's the A&M coach, probably going to see them every year.
Yeah, and a lot of his recruits to UTSA would probably follow him or enter the transfer portal and go wherever he goes. So, and that's the thing. That's the reason why I can't. I think somebody had mentioned, would he take? I don't know. Was it? No, it was one of the comments on the chat saying, "Well, obviously Florida is going to be available after this year. I can't see them keeping."
I did mention that, Rudy, and I think the Gators are obviously have not played very well. Their schedule is brutal, Derek. They got to play. Seem like they play everybody. I think that's a program, though. I think it's waiting kind of in the ruins there. It's a program that does have something. They got history, former champs, Urban Meyer, Spurrier was there. Listen, they got history there. They just need someone to pick up the pieces, because
I think that's better, Gio. I thought about Gio. That's amazing you say that, because when I've thought about, I talked to Rudy before about him making a move, and I was going to say a school like Florida, USC, or somewhere like that. I think Florida would be even better choice than Texas and Texas A&M.
And the thing that I argue on the fact of Florida is he has so many ties to Texas that I think it would be difficult for him.
But Rudy, he fits right into this. He fits right into the chomp. He's perfect. He's made for that. He's got that kind of personality, that vibrant personality. And I just think, man, he would be a perfect fit for the Florida Gators. I don't even think it's close for me. I think he just fits right in there. Just everything
told Rudy
about
yesterday,
him.
I said, hey,
his persona.
Billy Napier, he's not. Listen, they play the Hurricanes, Florida State, Georgia. They play everybody. It seems like. I don't think he's going to survive. So for me, at the end of the season, if I'm Florida, listen, you got to be competitive, because right now Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the SEC, and if you don't keep up with those teams, they're going to be at the bottom. Now, they're not going to be Vanderbilt. But they're going to be towards that bottom echelon team in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I have is it's recruiting. I don't know if he can actually have the same impact recruiting at Florida in that pipeline than he would in Texas. Imagine if he goes to Texas or Texas A&M. Any recruit, any 5-star recruit in Texas is going to have one of those schools on their list wherever he goes. It's guaranteed any 5-star is going to. They've seen what Jeff has done at UTSA. He's brought the program, like I said, from the Larry Coker start to the Charlie Strong days. I mean, he's already put it in national level. So if he goes to Texas or A&M, then the 5-star guys out of Texas are already looking at going to one of those schools wherever he goes. Does it make a difference if he goes to Florida? Can he get those guys over to Florida? That's the problem I have, is I think he's going to be more of a rookie on the SEC side for the Florida case than the Texas case. What do you got there?
What was Larry Coker at first? Nobody heard of Larry Coker.
He was at Miami.
I know him, but before he got to Miami as a head coach, he didn't have a lot of notoriety out there, right?
No, he didn't.
So Traylor is the type of guy, wherever he goes, man, people are just going to gravitate to him. And I'm telling you, I could picture him in Florida, man. I could see it. I would be cheering him on. And I think recruiting wouldn't be a problem for him, because he just had this magnetic personality. And I could see him being the type of guy. I mean, not many people going to pass up Florida. Texas is a great state, but Florida's not too bad either. And when you're talking about the Gators, and I think he would entertain that. I think the recruiting would go well. And I think it would be just a new start for him. And I think he would embrace it.
Yeah, and I think he'll embrace it. One more point, Rudy. I know there's another school in Texas that no one ever talks about. But how about Houston? Dana Holgerson, I don't know if he, he's probably got one more year. Not sure what's going to happen there. He potentially get the boot there at Houston. Could you see them bringing in a lot of money to say, hey, we would love this coach?
Dude, I was going to ask, do they have the money to? But yeah, they do. I don't know,
They
man.
do, Rudy?
Houston, that's a tough one, man. That's so tough.
Yeah, because they're not paying Dana pennies. But I think they would have to come out of their pocket a little more for Traylor at this point. You send Dana back to West Virginia or wherever, but I think that's another team he would entertain. Houston's
I think
a good
Dana's a
move as
good
well.
coach. Yeah. No, I think
he is.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, Tim is asking about SMU. I know he asked yesterday about SMU and Jeff Traylor. I think that's not a school that I would even consider Traylor going to. Nothing wrong with SMU. I mean, great school, but he's already at a school, UTSA, that's already at that SMU level. So I don't think just going from, UTSA to SMU is a big enough move for him. He would rather just stay in San Antonio.
And Baylor, that's kind of another team just laying in the weeds. I don't
told you no.
The whole Art Briles situation obviously did not go over actually at all. So could he go there and kind of rebuild and because they were good for for a little bit there, Rudy, after the coach. What's his name? Who was there at Baylor?
Who
was Rule there?
Matt Rule? Yeah. I think it was Matt Rule.
Yeah, so Matt was there, and he actually had a good run there at Baylor before literally being atrocious with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about him in Big Ten probably this week, maybe.
Yeah, we're going to do more. We've got a couple more college preview shows before we get to this weekend because games start this Saturday. So hopefully we'll hit all the college football preview shows this week for all you guys out there. But nonetheless, that's a great thing on Traylor. We'll see what happens this year. When we cover the American Conference and all these other conferences, you'll be surprised. I've actually got UTSA. I've been hyping them up because I've said if they're a one-loss team and that one loss coming to Texas, they've got to be considered for the college football playoff at the 12th.
Don't sleep on Memphis.
No, I'm not sleeping on Memphis, but I have Memphis and I have UTSA as one of those teams getting that 12th spot. Yeah, that 12th spot in that last college football playoffs. It's going to be one of those two teams, but they both have to run the table. Go ahead, Derek.
I hope Memphis doesn't come back as good as they were last year. I hate to say that, Gio, because they're young men. But, man, Memphis was kind of scary last year.
Yeah.
Really good team.
Yeah, and, Texas State, right? I mean, again, another rivalry for UTSA. There's talks.
Can you say that with some more enthusiasm, sir?
Texas State.
Like,
they got some speed on them.
Yeah, we got some Texas State fans on here. Can you put a little more life into that, man?
I'm trying.
Hey, listen, for what it's worth, they beat Baylor.
Everybody Baylor these days, man. Come on.
But hey, they beat a team in the Big 12 conference. That has to mean something.
Yeah, but UTSA beat Baylor before that. So I mean, in Baylor, in Waco, they did. So I mean, yeah, Baylor's Baylor, man. But we're gonna get into more of that football talk in a little bit when we come back from after our last commercial break. Derek, the so-called new face of the franchise, Anthony Edwards, decided to drop a comment about eras again. We always talk about era basketball. What did Anthony Edwards have to say? We're going to let everybody know when we get back here on Sweep the League. Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Coach Gio, the future coach of Team USA, according to John, and Rudy Campos Jr. will be back. Sweep the League more in just a little bit. Spurs fans, are you ready to stay ahead of the game of the San Antonio Spurs with the best coverage in the business? Tune in to Locked On Spurs, the daily podcast that brings you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and all the latest news and updates for your silver and black. Join Jeff Garcia, the most informative and entertaining host in the game, as he breaks down all Spurs news and notes, interviews the biggest names, and keeps you locked into all things Spurs. From Monday to Friday, get ready to start your day with the best Spurs coverage in the business. Don't miss out on the expert opinions, the hot takes, and the can't miss guests. Make sure you're locked in with Locked On Spurs. Subscribe to their YouTube channel now and stay ahead of the game all season long. Locked On Spurs. It's the best Spurs coverage in the business. Don't miss out. Hey guys, are you ready for a flavor explosion? Look no further than La Cocina Taco Truck, serving up the best street tacos and quesadillas in New Braunfels. With a 5-star rating and rave reviews, they're not just a taco truck. They are a taste sensation. La Cocina staff is the best in town and pride themselves on making every customer feel like family. Whether you're feeding a crowd or just satisfying your own cravings, they've got you covered because no order is too big or too small for them there. Louis and his staff are all about customer satisfaction, and they love their community. Don't worry, San Antonio friends. They're just a short trip away to New Braunfels. So why wait? Come visit La Cocina Taco Truck today and taste the difference for yourself. That's La Cocina Taco Truck, where every bite is a fiesta. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Can you imagine a world where nature meets wellness, where every sip you take nourishes your body and soul? Introducing Special Leaf Tea, a line of 100% natural, ready-to-drink iced teas crafted to boost your immunity and energy. With 4 unique flavors to choose from, as in hibiscus blueberry, tangerine ginger, pomegranate blueberry, or the original, you can indulge in the perfect blend of taste and nutrition. Their teas are carefully crafted with 2 times the antioxidants and no added sugar. They're known to help with blood pressure, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, weight management, and even provide natural energy without caffeine. Join the movement towards natural wellness. Order now at www.specialleaf.com and start sipping your way to a healthier, happier you. Special Leaf Tea. Nature in every sip. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Pops the mastermind, got the team, what we need.
All right, guys, welcome back to Sweep the League Taco Tuesday edition. Last segment coming up here. It's Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. again, like I said on this Taco Tuesday. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow we won't be on at 9 o'clock live at 9 o'clock. We should be on during the day tomorrow live, but then the replay will happen tomorrow. We'll schedule to go again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So if you don't catch it during the day, you'll be able to catch it at 9 o'clock at our normal time. The only thing is we wouldn't be live. So if you leave comments, we won't be able to get to them to the very next day. So, but that's just a quick reminder there. Also, kind of a little surprise here, man. Everybody knows that we are partners with SOTB. We're part of a bigger network. For those of you that don't understand that, or that understand and know about it, we are a part of a huge network, all the way from Sports Insanity to the I Am Focused Network, everything like that. So, real quick message here. I'm gonna let this video play that was dropped to us a little bit. Pretty cool thing happening for us and for everybody in our network here. So let's play it real quick. You guys take a look.
My name is Ronda Rousey.
That was incredible.
Nobody asked me to, but I wrote a graphic novel. Expecting the Unexpected is about 2 rival assassins end up unexpectedly pregnant and discover that giving life is harder than taking it. We're going to be able to offer you things you can't get anywhere else. Hardcover books, pre-signed editions, get drawn in by Mike Diodato. You can be an assassin who gets their ass kicked by me. Lucky you. Sign up at our pre-launch page now.
There you go. Ronda Rousey, Rowdy Ronda Rousey has a Kickstarter going for her book coming out. So definitely want to check that out. Just search the Kickstarter for Ronda Rousey. Get that book started. She's going to be doing some signed copies, and there's going to be a little bit more from Ronda Rousey that's going to be in ties with Sweep the League as far as the network goes as well. So just keep your eyes out. Like I said, we are doing bigger things here at Sweep the League, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. But nonetheless, to get back to some more sports talk here to end the show. So have you seen the comment, Derek, from Anthony Edwards? Have you come across it yet?
Yeah, I saw it earlier. I can't remember offhand. Something crazy. Yeah. I saw it, but you have to remind me.
Jordan was the only skilled.
Oh yeah,
or some
skilled player back in that day. Yeah.
Yeah. So quote unquote, Anthony Edwards on the skill growth of the NBA from Lane Florsheim, the Wall Street Journal, says they say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill, so that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, they were like, "Oh my God!" But now everybody has skill. Comments and question, fellas. You guys go at in if you have to. You take this one.
You want to go ahead first, Derek?
No, I'll let you go first, man, so I can kind of cool down.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
What is this from Anthony? Listen, I think he's a phenomenal player. He's going to be in this league for a long time, God willing. But what is this comment? The only skilled player? I mean, that's basically what he's saying. What about Larry Bird? What about one of the great skilled centers, Hakeem Olajuwon? Did Hakeem not have skill, Derek? I mean, one of the most skilled big men with the ball you probably ever see. Charles Barkley, yeah, he was short, but the skill he had to basically play above the rim is you got to have skill. Clyde Drexler. I mean, there's so many other guys that I could just ramble off names to say that these guys were skilled. Dominique Wilkins, Shaquille O'Neal, which is obviously and also Michael Jordan's era as well. The list goes on. I don't know what it is about disrespecting the eras of the past. Listen, okay, if you want to call somebody a plumber, whatever the case may be, I've heard that term used a lot, but there's so many guys. Isaiah Thomas is just coming up to my head. I mean, I can go on. I'm not going to go on because we don't have enough time on this show, but Anthony, please stop. Go watch.
Yeah.
Go watch
that's
it.
my I'm sorry. That's the question that I pose is why in the hell does today's generation have so much disrespect for the past? You know what? I get it. In the past, they didn't have, these extremely exciting dunks 5-6 times in a game. There wasn't a highlight reel every, 2 or 3 plays. I get that. But the disrespect from today's generation to the past, it sucks and it needs to stop. That's just my 2 cents right there. Derek, I know you want to get it in for this, I'm sure.
The only problem, it's not even with Anthony Edwards. This was this young generation period. A lot of these guys just talk the game. They've never studied the game in their life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ignorant to talk about things that you have no clue about. I'm wearing a shirt right now of a guy who I know had a lot of skill by the name of George Gervin. And I can go on and on. Gio named some of them. But to talk about stuff, even when it comes to with your family, your kids, you teach them to do their due diligence, study before you start running your mouth. And Anthony Edwards obviously has not studied the game. He's talked the game very well. And isn't he the guy also in the Olympics that got sat down in the fourth quarter? He wasn't even a factor in the finals.
Yeah.
That is Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he becomes a little more humble. It's not like that these guys, they talk about plumbers. And I don't want to hurt any feelings, but if you really want to be honest about plumbers, would Bronny James even be on a roster back then? No. Okay. So when we talk about plumbers, I think sometimes we got it backwards. J.J. Redick wouldn't be on a roster.
Nope.
Those 2 guys I just named, at best, they would be ball boys. So I just want people to think about it. They've had great players in every era. This one, the one before, the Kobe era. We can go on and on. All these guys brought something to the table. You can go back to the 60s. They had great players, the John Havliceks, the Wilts, the Russells. Every era has had great players. And for Anthony to just go out there and stick his foot in his mouth, basically, and talk about things that he has no knowledge of, that to me, that's just pure ignorance.
And also, what about, David Robinson? Did he not have skill? One of the most skilled big men this NBA has ever seen. The way he moved, his height, his physique. I mean, David Robinson's physique, go look at his old photos. His physique was very different compared to even other centers. That's a skill. Man, it's just disappointing.
Rudy, can I ask you this? And we keep talking about skill, right? Fundamentals. A lot of these guys, they talk about how athletic these guys are, right?
Yeah.
The MVP last year was Jokic, wasn't it?
Yep.
Isn't Luka called by a lot of people one of the top 2-3 players?
Mm-hmm.
So skills can be a different type things, and all that athleticism and all that. Is that what's winning today? No.
Nope.
And all of these guys have very high skill sets. Gio mentioned it, Dominique Wilkins, or Larry Bird. You can't name too many people in the world that were more skillful than a Hakeem Olajuwon or Larry Bird.
No.
So I'll just name those two. And Anthony needs to start doing this research. It's okay to run your mouth, but usually when you talk, at least have some idea what you're talking about.
Exactly. And I just want to point this out real quick, because this is something that when he said this and I saw the comment, I was like, it pisses me off, because out of the 18 stat columns for all time, does he realize that 12 of them are from players in that era? Games played all time, Robert Parrish, number 1. Assists all time, John Stockton. Steals all time, John Stockton. Offensive rebounds all time, Moses Malone. Rebounds all time, Wilt Chamberlain. Not one guy from this era anywhere in the rebound area.
Hey,
Anywhere
Rudy,
in the block
not to
shot
cut
area.
you.
Go ahead.
Don't forget Oscar Robertson, who wasn't getting guys moving out the way like Steven Adams and Serge Ibaka.
Exactly.
And he averaged a triple-double playing real basketball where every play mattered.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the only guy, there's 2 guys from this era that lead statistical categories all time. There's only 2, LeBron and Steph Curry. That is it. But LeBron's played 60 something years. So he's going to lead in the majority of the, a lot of these stats. But that is it.
True.
Now let me pull Anthony back a little bit here, and I'm going to say, you know what? You do have one category where 2 players that play in today's era, they lead. And boy, oh boy, do they lead it by pretty good margin. One of them leads it by a pretty good margin, and that's turnovers. LeBron's number 1 at 5,211. Russell Westbrook's number 2 at 4,587. So they do lead that category. This era does lead that category in turnovers. Everything else is the so-called, the easy era, this era. They didn't have skill in that area. Well, son of a bitch, if they didn't have skill, why do all of them lead statistical categories? Why can't this era of easy basketball, why can't they get it done? That's my gripe with the Anthony Edwards thing. The disrespect is just terrible. It really, really is terrible.
Hasn't every era had great players? If we really being honest about it. I know people like to do the GOAT and all that because it's just something to talk about. But every era since I've been alive has had very highly skilled players. And that's what you had to be highly skilled, even back to the era that JJ called the plumber era. You had to be fundamentally sound. And to be fundamentally sound takes a certain skill set. And so every era has had great players. And I know Anthony talks a lot. He talked a lot in college. But now when you start talking and putting yourself out there, you got to start walking the walk instead of just talking the talk. You need to be focused on leading your Timberwolves a little further than you went last year. And then when you do that, people, it validates what you talk about. But when you don't put your results behind it, it's like you're just talking.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other great players. I mean, looking, George Mikan, right? This name never ever comes up, but in his time, he was a great player, right?
Yeah.
The original big man. And funny name, a lot of people probably don't know, the Lakers were in Minneapolis, right? The word Lakers don't come from Los Angeles. Okay, everybody, if you don't know, now you know. They originated from Minneapolis. They moved to there and they kept their name, and they're now the Los Angeles Lakers. History fact. But no, every generation has great players, and every generation has also role players, and that's what it is. And to say someone's less skilled in this, if this player can't play in this era, look, just respect the past and keep it moving forward. Why do you need to bring up people from Jordan's day? I mean, what did someone ask him that question, or did he just voluntarily?
I really don't know. I think they would just. I think it was just kind of a random question from the reporter. Is all it was.
Hey, Gio, you said Jordan, so we talk really quick about skills. Jordan Poole has a lot of skills, but how's that worked out for the Wizards and for him?
Yeah, and worked out for anything, man.
So it's not always about skills.
Because you can have skill. I mean, you can be the most skilled. I mean, you can be the most athletic wide receiver. You could be the fastest wide receiver. Once upon a time, the Oakland Raiders, Al Davis drafted Harris Hayward Bay. Remember that, Rudy? The fastest man.
Hayward Bay, yeah.
And what happened? He couldn't catch.
He had more letters in his name than he had yards.
And no disrespect to Bay, because his college days he could run. But I'm just saying, you could be the fastest, you could be the most athletic, and sometimes you can have a lot of skill, but it's just not putting it all together. So many other things that we don't see that makes a player very, very good. Of course, skill is involved, but there's so many other facets of the game, where you got drafted, your coach, right? All that stuff. But what do we know, right?
Darius Hayward Bay, more letters in the name than he's had catches in his entire career.
I don't want him to tweet this if he ever watches this. No disrespect, man. But I'm just bringing up an analogy. The great Al Davis drafted him. I think it was the 8th pick, really. I think it was like a really eye-shocking pick.
But remember, that was in the time of, wasn't Jamarcus Russell not too far before that or after was that draft pick?
Funny story about, I forgot who said this story, Rudy, and you've probably heard about it. The coaches gave him a disc to go home. They didn't put anything on the disc. They come back. They say, Russell, what was your best plays on the? Oh, all of them, coach. And they never put anything on the disc. Jamarcus, man.
Jamarcus Russell. Good one, Gio.
Another, and he played under Nick Saban, didn't he? I think he did.
No, what was he not?
Saban was at LSU.
Yeah.
Saban was at LSU.
Yeah. Kyler Murray is Jamarcus 2.0.
Pretty much, yeah. That's why I said it's fair for me to say this, Gio, and I've said it to you 100 times. Any quarterback that's played under Nick Saban has not done jack.
Wait,
Tua has probably been before Tua. You know who the best quarterback who ever played under Saban was in the NFL? A.J. McCarron.
Wow.
I mean, if you wanted to be a quarterback and play in the NFL, I would not go to Saban. I would never have gone to Alabama. I would have never gone anywhere. Tua Tagovailoa is probably the most successful one. What's up there?
While you're on the tour, can we end it on this? What about the Brian Flores thing? With Tua talking about how the approaches were different from the coaches. He felt like he was basically abused by Brian Flores. You guys hear about that?
I didn't catch that. If you want to give me the background on it, definitely we can.
Tua was talking. You saw Gio. He's talking about the difference in approaches from coaches, and some of these coaches that come from the Patriots or whatever. He mentioned my man. What's that guy used to be in Denver? McDaniels. I'm trying to think who the name is. Oh, you're talking about these coaches that.
You talking about the snake?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, the coaches that do the cursing, and the ones that try to rationalize with you. And Tua was talking about the difference in approaches from Brian Flores and the coach that they have now. some, it's kind of some players don't like being cursed at. I saw Shannon Sharp talking about it as well, and he
Yeah.
said he didn't mind coaches going at him hard, but you're not going to be cursing at me and all that stuff. There's a certain way you're going to talk to me as a man. And Tua seems like he had a big problem with Brian Flores.
Yeah,
Maybe we
Brian
can get into
Flores,
that more tomorrow. Yeah.
Not surprised when I heard the comment. Brian, I've seen some comments of him throughout the years. He's also from the Belichick coaching career, a little bit more old school. Flores did respond, Derek. He said he's evolved, basically saying he's not that guy that he was several years ago. But another coach also like that was Greg Williams, former Saints defensive coordinator. We all know the whole what was that, Rudy?
Bounty Gate.
The Bounty Gate. I'll never forget, before we leave, Saints Cardinals playoff game, Rudy. Kurt Warner's a quarterback. After that game, I told myself, I've never seen a quarterback get hit so hard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And to find out several years later, there was a bounty out on Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
And also Brett Favre also as well. The Vikings played him in the NFC Championship game, I think the year before. So that's another thing as well. So yeah, the coaches, some of them guys, they're very old school and they're going to say a lot of things. I don't agree with what Flores was doing though, and that's why I always say, Rudy, you need an offensive minded coach. These defensive guys, listen, some of them are just out of control.
Yeah, I would say that. I don't know, growing up playing basketball, I don't know why I always wanted to play under Bobby Knight one time. But knowing me, I'd probably laugh.
That's probably all you would have wanted was one time.
Yeah, just one time, and I probably would have got my ass kicked because I would have been laughing in practice the whole time. I don't know, man. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, I think at that level, I don't know, man. It's hard because coaches. Is it better to be a player's coach or
what Shannon said, Rudy? I'm sorry. What Shannon said was that you can become immune to that. That's so if a guy's talking negative to you every single day, and then all of a sudden he has one good day, you're not going to focus on that one good day. You're going to focus on that 1,000 bad days. Yeah. Where every time you come into the locker room, you really basically don't want to come into the locker room because you know you're going to be getting beat down. Yeah. And so to try to clean it up and you have one good day out of 7 days, I think that approach doesn't work on everyone. Every player is not the same, and you have to learn how to deal with every single player on your roster.
And, Shannon Sharp had Dan Reeves, who is also another old school, hardcore, a guy that's going to say a lot of things. So a lot of those coaches that Shannon was also talking about, he obviously coached was under him and Dan Reeves. So a lot of the old school guys, they're not necessarily around, but you obviously have coaching trees from Belichick and a few other coaches that may. But I prefer the players coach. I mean, Pete Carroll, we've seen it work very, very well in the NFL. Obviously, that Super Bowl with the Patriots kind of hurt some of his reputation, but still a really good coach. And some other players coach, I think I would prefer that. The old school kind of rah-rah, I don't know. In today's NFL, I think there's space for that, but not the way it used to be.
I'd prefer coaches that can get the job done in the Super Bowl. That's just my opinion.
Rudy, Gio, didn't Kansas City, didn't Andy Reid kind of mellow out a little bit?
He has, yeah. If
what's
you
his name?
compare
Kelsey,
him,
he put his hands on him, didn't he?
If you compare him to the Philly days, especially the beginning of the Philly days to now, he's definitely kind of relaxed. Winning
Remember
Super Bowls,
Kelsey?
Derek. Yeah, no, he literally grabs him.
That never would have happened. The old Andy Reid, that never would have happened.
If that was Jimmy Johnson, I think Kelsey, something would have happened to him, right? So just depending on the coach, but players, coaches, that's kind of the norm. Now, Sean Payton, he's kind of a tough coach. He actually coaches. Actually, Sean Payton, what he did to Russell Wilson on the sidelines there was pretty intense. So he's still another kind of old school type of coach. So you still have him around the league, but preferably for me at least, a player's coach, kind of like a Mike Tomlin. I could definitely see myself playing for those guys.
Before we go, because we got to go, we're against the clock here. Before we go, quick question: do the Kansas City Chiefs win Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes if Bill Belichick's a coach. He's not a player's coach. He's a tough coach. But with that attitude, with that coaching discipline, do they win? Do they win Super Bowls there? Because there's a difference between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick doesn't seem like he's got, we haven't seen serious Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. There's a difference, Brady, Patrick. Brady could handle the Belichick type of coaching. You saw the fire in Brady. I don't know if I've seen that in Patrick yet.
I've seen the fire in Patrick. There's certain games where he's been mic'd up, and then again he's mic'd up. But
with Belichick coaching, do they win Super Bowls with Belichick?
What if Bill's spying still? Is that part of?
Don't go all that. I'm not deflating balls.
If Bill's spying, I'm gonna say yeah. It's a tough one because Tom is different, right? Tom has some cycle time in him at times. He would yell at players on the sidelines. He would scream and yell, but also Tom would also get ridiculed by Bill. Would talk to him in front of the whole team. That's not for everybody. So I'm going to say though, yes, at least one, because Bill getting in the defense. I don't love Josh McDaniels at all because he would obviously be the coordinator, and I don't know if his offense has kind of evolved as much as obviously Andy Reid's offense, much beloved in the league. I'm gonna say they get one, but I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
Rudy,
tough one.
I'm gonna say I don't know because quickly, would Bill let Mahomes be himself? You know what it kind of reminds me of? If Steph wasn't playing with Golden State, would Steph still be Steph? Mm-mm. So sometimes you have to look at the situation. Would Bill Belichick let Mahomes be the guy that's throwing the ball around his back? And so, sometimes a coach can limit what you do. And so that would be the biggest question for me. But if Bill were to let him be himself, I'm going to say without question, Mahomes is going to win basically whenever you put him with a decent team. He's going to make the team better. So, but it depends on if Bill will let him be himself.
The problem with Bill is they're cheap. They're going to give him and quote unquote plumbers, as some people have said. Tom would always win with guys off the street, but Patrick's he's obviously won with Tyreek, not Tyreek, but he's always had that at least one elite receiver or tight end.
Yeah.
Do the Patriots, do they spend the money and do that? I think they do because he did try to spend some money in those last few off seasons there. That would be also a question is, do they have the offensive personnel? Because Patrick's got a big arm. He wants to sling it. Patrick doesn't want to dink and dunk. I mean, that's not really his aura. He wants to throw it down the field. Mm-hmm. And the Patriots offense, besides that 1 year with...
I was going to say with Moss and Brady.
Randy Moss, a lot of their offense is pretty pedestrian.
It's tough, man. It's a tough question. It's one that I think we need to put out there on Twitter land and TikTok land and see what everybody's response is. So nonetheless, just a reminder, guys, we're probably going to be on tomorrow during the day. We'll keep everybody posted. If anything changes, something will be played at 9:00, whether it's a rebroadcast of a live show or a rebroadcast of another show. We'll keep everybody updated, but more than likely, we're going to be going live during the day tomorrow at some point. So the best way to do is go to the YouTube, hit the subscribe button, go to @SweepTheLeagueTV, hit subscribe. That way and you get notified when we do go live. But again, something will be replayed at 9:00 tomorrow. We should be back Thursday and Friday as well for our 9 p.m. shows. So we're still going live on those on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday as of right now. But nonetheless, man, I appreciate everybody joining here. We were up to 400 people strong. We're at 286 people on the stream right now strong. Appreciate all the love that we've been getting. Remember, be a subscriber to you on our YouTube page. We're giving away an Amazon gift card here pretty soon. We've just given away Madden 25. Amazon gift cards up next. We're getting ready to give away WWE 2K. I think NBA is going to be coming out, NBA 2K. We've also got MLB The Show. So we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be giving away to you guys out there just for being subscribers. And again, shout out to our sponsors, MCS General Contracting, Special Leaf Tea, also Castro and Son Solar, and Lock Vecina Taco Truck. Shout out to Jeff Garcia at Locked On Spurs. So for Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, for the coach, the future coach of UTSA when he moves, that'll be Coach Gio. This is Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep the league again tomorrow, everybody have a great night.
Have a good night. Tim, I got you tomorrow on the Artist Gilmore question.
Yeah, definitely bring up some Artist Gilmore talk tomorrow for sure.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Shout out to Rudy, Coach Gio, and Derek Irvin. Keep going, guys.
Shout out to SOTV and STL Music. I love the music, and hell yes, they paid me to say it. Commercials are not free, honey. Did you share our YouTube yet? Why not? Go watch Sweep the League TV right now and support my guys. Rudy, Kojio, Derek, and crew only talk sports and have fun. They don't have any bad vibes, just amazing fans. We love everyone.